it's Jo McElderry. It is nearly 20 to midday. It's BBC Radio Oxford. It's Wednesday morning. And, well, he's the winner. Was a winner. 2009. That's a long time ago, isn't it? Jo McElderry is in Oxford and he's got a new coat. He's on the line now to tell us all about it. Hello, Joe.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. And what about you? Tell us about this coat. And you're in Joseph in Oxford. How's the tour going?
Yes, good. So I had, we had our first night in Oxford last night. Fabulous audience.
Obviously.
And it's fabulous. And we're here until Saturday. Yes, we've got shows all weekend until this coming Saturday. But it's been great. It's been, I didn't kind of expect that. When I did this show, I didn't expect the audiences to be so kind of like up for it. Like everybody's coming and they're dancing.
It's just a classic show, though, isn't it? That's why we all know the songs, don't we?
Exactly, and it's wonderful because you get all different ages, from young to old, and right across the board. It's been brilliant. I'm loving it.
Did you get to see it when you were growing up? Because there was versions with Jason Donovan, Philip Schofield.
Yeah. Well, I did it at school, but I was a little bit too shy to sing then. So I think I was literally one of the kids that kind of like sneaks to the back and kind of pretends to sing. But I was petrified of singing then. So I hadn't actually seen it, the professional version of it. I'd only kind of just seen a school performance.
Okay. And what about Oxford? Have you been here before?
I've been once before to do the. I addressed the Oxford Union.
Did you?
Once before, yes. Well, you sounded as surprised as I was when I was that.
Well, what were you talking about? X Factor.
It was basically to talk about being a young performer in the industry and kind of dealing with all the business side of things behind it that nobody kind of gets to see and hear about, and kind of growing up in the public eye. It was quite an interesting conversation. But I remember when the management got the email, I was like, really, they want the Geordie boy to go and speak at Oxford? I might not even understand it.
Did you think when you won X Factor that firstly that you'd be asked to talk at the Oxford Union, but your career would go the way it has?
Not at all. I mean, I kind of didn't really have any expectations. I was just always willing to work really hard. And whatever kind of came my way, I kind of just throw myself into it. So it's a lot of things have kind of, obviously, sometimes you're going to be doing something, but then other things come as a surprise, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm really enjoying this. And Pop Startup Star was one of them, where you end up doing a show and it brings a whole different side to your career that you kind of didn't think was going to happen.
Is that what led to you working in musicals?
Not really. I mean, pretty much since day one doing X Factor, I've been asked to do musicals, but it's just always been about fitting it into the schedule and working it out, and if it was a show that I wanted to do, and kind of if it was right for me. And then this obviously came up. I've been asked a few times by the producers of the show, but I was never able to commit to the time that they needed. And we sat down like last summer and kind of bashed it all out and discussed when we would do it and how long we would do it for to make it possible, and here we are. So it's been lovely to do it, honestly. I've really, really enjoyed it.
You say that you work really hard. Do you think that's what sets you apart from other X Factor winners? Because let's be honest, there's not been a brilliant track record. It's almost better if you don't do so well in the competition, isn't it?
Well, I think people have to understand that as well. That you're stepping into an industry that is very, very cutthroat and it's very ruthless. And sometimes even just something as simple as not having the right people around you can ruin or end your career, and I've been very lucky to have very kind of headstrong family members around us that have kind of fought me corner, because, I was an 18-year-old kid back then. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and I was very fortunate that my mum and dad were kind of switched on about it all, not in a pushy parent kind of way, in a very sensible way, and were able to kind of get a group of people around us that really cared about me and my career, instead of people kind of just steaming in and kind of just taking what they need and leaving, So I've been very fortunate, but I think it is a tough industry, but the show is also a great platform. You've got to kind of weigh everything up.
Sure, and you seem to have taken the long-term view, because you've been songwriting with people like Marcella Detroit from Shakespeare's Sister and Beth Nielsen Chapman. I mean, that sort of shows a sign that you're in it for the long term. Yeah, well, I mean,
I really want to be doing this when I'm, 40 years old. I want to look back and think, wow, I've had a really long career. I don't kind of... my aim was never to be famous and incredibly successful for 2 years and then nobody, say anything else. Like, I've always kind of wanted to just kind of plod along doing all the projects and be able to create, like, a long, sustainable career. That's actually achievable,
I have to ask you though, because you have done such a varied amount of things. You did the jump, you won it.
I know.
Your thoughts on that this year? Because it's been so scary, hasn't it? And so dangerous.
The thing is, I haven't actually seen much of it this year because we've obviously been doing the shows when it's been on. But I've been reading all of the press about it, and obviously I follow the jump Twitter from when I did it, and I'm seeing every other week I'm seeing such and such has left because they've broken their arm, such and such has broke their leg. It's the thing is, I go skiing every year as like a hobby, and even that is dangerous in itself. It's just dangerous full stop. So I think you combine that with a load of celebrities who get very competitive, and some who are fearless, and then obviously add the cameras and stuff, and they're capturing every minute of it. It's bound to create some of them kind of cringy moments where you're like, oh my God, are they okay? Are they alive?
Yeah. Well, you've done it.
It was great fun. It was I loved it. It was like going on a ski holiday for a month.
Yeah.
It was fabulous. But I did come back thinking I was going to need a hip replacement. I was covered in bruises and pains.
Well, listen, it's a little bit more, slightly more sedate. I'm sure it's pretty exhausting doing a full-on show. There's a lot of singing and dancing, isn't there, in Joseph?
It is. The great thing about this show is it's full of really emotional moments. It's full of comedy, happy moments. There's a few bits in it where you feel very sorry for me because I'm getting bullied by all of my brothers and things, and then it has a really nice ending to it. So it's great. It's got a great. I mean, everybody knows the story. It's a fabulous story, and the music's just. I didn't really realise how great the music was. When you actually don't kind of listen to it in its entirety, and then doing the show every night, I don't really get bored of it. It's just fabulous music.
No, it is. And you haven't forgotten the words, have you, any night?
I haven't. I mean, the colours, when we're about to start the colours every night in the show, I do have that moment of anxiety 2 seconds before it's thinking, am I going to mess it up tonight? But I haven't yet.
Oh, good. Oh, dear, I'm sorry I mentioned that. I'm sure it won't happen tonight.
Probably having a day now.
Oh, no. So you're here all week. When's the last performance?
So we do 2 shows every day from today until Friday, and then we have 3 shows on Saturday. So we've got plenty of people who want to come down and see.
I think that sounds like the jump was far more relaxed than that. That sounds exhausting.
Well, yes. I mean, it is quite a heavy, because obviously we're only visiting places like weekly. It is quite a heavy schedule, but it's great fun, and the cast are brilliant, so that makes everything a lot easier as well.
It's a real team show. It's lovely to speak to you, Joe. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having us.
And I hope it goes well tonight, and don't forget those words.
I will. Thank you.
All right, nice to speak to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That's Joe McElderry. He's in Joe.